I follow basketball enough, but I don't really pay attention to the standings too much because I'm worrying about the Jets or the Islanders. So, but what I noticed is that Toronto Raptors, I didn't realize they were first right now.
They are having an amazing year.
Yeah, I did not realize that at all, actually. So
Lowry and DeRozan are beasts.
Something I just wanted to bring up because I don't know.
No, absolutely. Hey, listen, they are a team to be reckoned with in the Eastern Conference. They could give Boston or Cleveland a run for their money in the Eastern Conference Finals, or a little earlier if the bracket makes them meet up that way.
Right now, if the playoffs started today, they'd play the Knicks.
Oh, that'd be rough for the Knicks.
Sweep.
Yeah. I'm not even going to give them one game, 4-game sweep for the Raptors.
Hey, at least they're making the playoffs, though.
I mean,
as of right now, yeah, I'm sure. Just get Hardaway back, and then we'll talk.
Hey, you know what? You have a lot less faith in the Knicks than I do.
No, I don't have any faith on the road, honestly.
Okay, yes.
I have faith in the team altogether because when they play well, they play well. They score over 105 points per game at home, but then on the road, they score barely over 97 or 98. And this was a game, again, I know that we we're way past it, but it still bothers me that this is a game that they should have won.
Yes,
against the Sixers. If they had Hardaway...
This was a back and forth game.
It really was. If they had Hardaway, it would be much closer because the score doesn't really depict how close it actually was. There were a lot of bad turnovers by the Knicks. But I'm telling you, if Hardaway was playing, it would have been either going in the Knicks' favor or much closer than what it is.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. So, also yesterday, the Thunder beat the Rockets by a score of 112-107. What did you think of the game?
The Thunder's getting rolling.
Yes, they are. It's about time with those three players.
It's about to be a thunderstorm everywhere.
Definitely. Good one.
That was a good one.
What is it? 2 drums and a cymbal just fell off a cliff.
2 drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff, yep.
Yeah, I got it.
I mean, it took a couple weeks or months, so to say, for the Thunder to really get clicking on all cylinders. I mean, when you have Paul George and Carmelo Anthony helping out Russell Westbrook, that should be one of the top contenders to beat the Warriors in the West. And yesterday was a good game. I think Russell Westbrook was playing. What I meant to say was Chris Paul was not playing the game yesterday, so that attributed to why Russell Westbrook was playing very well. That win just magnifies that they're starting to get rolling right now, and they can be a serious threat in the West for sure.
There were a lot of people who were going nuts over the Thunder's slow start, saying, "Oh, they got nothing. They're going to be a horrible team. Billy Donovan's on the hot seat." You know what? They needed some time to work it out. The Heat needed some time to work it out when LeBron and Bosh first got there. These super teams need time to get clicking.
Yeah, and now chemistry.
Exactly, 100%.
And that's something that happens a lot, too. I mean, when you put 3 big stars together that used to be alone in the league, and you put them together, it's an adjustment you have to make. You all have to step up and, maybe one time, one will have a great game. It's not going to be every game like it usually was when you were just that star. So it's all about, working out the chemistry and working it together. And I'm actually glad for the Thunder. That's actually looking good for them.
I agree with you. That city desperately needs it after Durant left them. We do have a caller on the line. Caller, you're on Beyond the Game.
Hi, guys. I know you're talking basketball, but I got a hockey question for you.
Sure thing, Jim from Montauk. How are you?
Good, guys. Plain and simple. What in God's name is wrong with the Islander goalies? Both of them.
They have no defense helping them.
They're both
Swiss
not
cheese.
starters now. They're both not starters. The defense doesn't help them. And, even if the defense is helping them out, then it'll be the time where the goalies let in the easiest goals ever. You see with Halak and Grice.
Yep.
Pretty much, honestly, a lot. You really see it a lot. And it's something, and the Islanders, you look at their offense, they're scoring a lot.
They really are.
They're scoring a lot. Which is, it's great. It's great. I'm not going to complain about that, but when you don't have a goalie to stop the other team, it's not really going to work that way. So honestly, with that being said, I think in terms of the trade deadline, because when that's coming up, I would say they're going to be looking to trade for, Peter Mrazek has been thrown out there, even Jimmy Howard as well. You don't really know what they're going to
have Howard than Mrazek.
So would I.
I heard Dell, too.
Who?
Yeah.
Aaron Dell.
Yeah, Aaron Dell I've heard, too.
Which is one of more of a risky one.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Howard.
I heard Peter Budaj, too.
I'd rather have Jimmy Howard.
Yeah, me too.
He's got more of that veteran presence.
And an established starter in the league.
He really is.
Now that Sahan is out for the season, you expect any change in the defense?
That's going to hurt.
New?
That definitely hurts, and I would hope that they would trade for someone, along the lines as well in terms of the defenseman. I mean,
Oliver Ekman-Larsson, I've heard.
That's what I heard a lot.
That's been rumored a lot, but again, I think that's going to take a little more than they would want to give up.
Yeah.
So, that's the reason why it's a little hard looking into Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but that's definitely a guy I think, the Islanders should go after that could definitely bolster their defense a lot. And again, it's really just get another defenseman Gausman and fix that goalie problem, and they're set. I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs. But in terms of the future now, it's going to be hard. You got to really look into the whole goalie situation this offseason.
Look, the thing is you can't score 5 goals and let up 6. Like, that's not how you win hockey games.
Exactly.
That's just all it comes down to.
They are the Brooklyn Nets of hockey. All offense, no defense.
I mean, they play in the same arena.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for long.
Maybe that's the problem. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a happy New Year.
Yes,
You too.
That was a good call from Jim from Wantagh here on Beyond the Game on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Jacob Volk. Sitting across from me, Dominick Arbolino, Eric Fischetti, and Joe Ardita. Of course, this show is on twice a week, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. and Fridays at 3 p.m. Number to call if you have something on your mind is 516-572-7440. So let's get back to basketball.
Can I raise a question really quick in terms of the Thunder, because that's what we were talking about?
Very good.
Would you compare this year's Oklahoma City Thunder to that of the Miami Heat when they had LeBron, Wade, and Bosh?
Their regular season, yes. As for the postseason, I don't think they'll get as far as the Heat got their first year with LeBron.
No, but I'm talking about like in their first full year together. It's again the same thing with the Thunder now as what the Heat happened. They started off slow, but then they started getting into the rhythm of everything like that. That's what I've been comparing them to as of recently.
So far, that's a very fair comparison. But when it gets to May and June, I don't see the Thunder getting past the Warriors.
And I think that's going to happen with any super team that starts with signing the players. If you look at the Warriors, it didn't really happen with them. That's because most of them were drafted on their own, and then you just really brought in Kevin Durant.
And there was nothing wrong with the Warriors bringing in Durant, by the way. I didn't have a problem with that.
No.
But
Durant, that's why it worked. That's what I'm saying. That's why it worked, though, and that's why the Warriors work, because they were all drafted together. They were all brought up together. When you look at the super teams, I remember we talked about this a long, long time ago, and we were talking about it in terms of super teams, whether it's like with bringing in free agents or drafting them, because I remember I don't know how long ago
it was me and Brandon. That was in, I think, June.
That was a long time ago.
Outside. I remember that.
That was a long, but that's
time flies.
And this is kind of like going back to it, where when it comes with free agent signings and super teams, it's just going to take some time for them to all work together, because they were all used to being alone on that team and being that top scorer, where now you're going to have to share the ball.
They're going to get their act together, and you're seeing it
and you're seeing it right now. Yeah, exactly.
Yesterday, the Timberwolves beat the Lakers by a score of 121-104. What were your thoughts on the game? Well, assuming you stayed up for it.
I watched some of it. I saw the highlights later on, and I got to say, I'm very impressed with Kyle Kuzma. That D'Angelo Russell trade made way for the birth of him, because they got the draft pick that ended up in Kyle
Shut up.
Kuzma.
Don't bring that up. I hate Kyle Kuzma. I can't stand him. He was picked with the 27th overall pick.
So that's why you don't like him.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Of course! When the Nets get D'Angelo Russell, they have to trade Kyle Kuzma. It's so annoying. They're like the Knicks. Even when the Nets do something right, they do it wrong.
You're still happy with D'Angelo Russell, right?
He hasn't played.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of him.
I mean, he hasn't played since when? Last month?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I like D'Angelo Russell. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy that he's a Net, and I'm looking forward to seeing Russell and Okafor play together. But until then, I am loathing Kyle Kuzma. Every time I see him on Twitter putting up 30 points, it's like a dagger into my heart.
And he put up 31 last night, 18 points per game in 32 minutes he's averaging this season. So it's a very strong rookie showing, to say the least, and he definitely helped them pick up the slack offensively. But I gotta say, I love how the TNT halftime crew announced that final game last night. Like Shaq, Kenny, and Charles Barkley, they announced the game, and Ernie Smith Johnson, they announced the game, which was actually,
really?
I thought it was pretty cool, and there was a lot of cool gems. Like Charles Barkley was saying some pretty hilarious stuff, so that was entertaining. I really like them a lot. I think they have a lot of good chemistry, and
certainly better than Jeff Van Gundy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we got about 90 seconds left. It's time for the bottom of the ninth. Dominic, we'll start with you.
Mine has to go back to football. It's going to be college football, though, and I have to address Josh Rosen for what he said. Especially with today, I think I understand his point where it comes about like declaring for the draft. He'd rather get drafted later so he could be in the right situation. But you could possibly be drafted number 1 overall in the draft, and that's something you have to take for granted and appreciate. Even though it could be the Cleveland Browns, yes, it's going to be a hard situation, but I think that's something you can get past and grow up. And I can say this right now, grow up kid. He's only 1 year older than me, so he's still technically a kid to me, so I don't care. I'm starting to get up now that if I clarify a player as kid, it'll be normal because I'm going to be their age now.
That's really funny.
That makes you feel really old, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, it does.
Eric?
Well, being that it was just Christmas recently, first of all, I want to wish everyone happy Christmas. Hope it was very happy and healthy.
Yes.
The Yankees got better. The Islanders got a new arena. The Giants did a good thing by firing McAdoo and Reese. And the Knicks are actually doing okay, but the next stop is re-signing Tavares. And other than that, it's been a very successul Christmas.
Good for you. And you're on Beyond the Game.
And I'm on Beyond the Game, of course.
That is true. That happened this year also.
Joe?
Well, I had an amazing Christmas. Everything was well, from the dinner to the presents, etc. But I do want to raise attention to a historic move made 98 years ago today. The Yankees purchased Babe Ruth from the Red Sox for $100,000 forever, shifted and changed the course of Yankees history.
Yankees also got a mortgage for Fenway Park, and Harry Frazee produced No No Nanette. So I want to address a technical matter. Last week's Beyond the Game, meaning last week today, will not be podcasted because it was only on for a half hour, and I don't think that's appropriate. But don't worry, this show will be podcasted. I promise you that.
Give the people what they want.
Absolutely. All right. Looks like we're about out of time here on Beyond the Game. For Dominick Arbolino, Eric Fischetti, and Joe Ardita, I am Jacob Volk saying Happy Boxing Day.